faculties that are showing up in our lives this morning. Because life did not look the way I thought it would look this morning when I came in, and the cameras were not connecting to Zoom, and then the sound won't connect. And so I, through my wisdom, I know that this is because Microsoft pushed through an update. At least that's what I'm going to say it is. But I know that through my understanding and my zeal that we can still make sure that people online can hear us and that people in this room can hear us. And we're going to have a blessed day, right? A blessed day. We're going to let our good rain down on us. I think by now that Dedry might be tired of hearing about gratitude and Thanksgiving, because Dedry's in Canada and they had Thanksgiving last month, and now we're having Thanksgiving this month, and she's probably tired of singing about gratitude. But the truth is we have to come back to gratitude all the time, right? We have to keep coming back to gratitude all the time. And I went down this rabbit hole this week, and I hope you'll go with me. But when I was younger, you need to know that I was a voracious reader, right? That's even how I know what the word voracious means. I was a voracious reader, and because I was a voracious reader, I like to believe that I am a better than average writer. And even one of the many jobs that I had, most of you know that I ran from being a minister for most of my life. One of those jobs was as a copy editor. When I went to seminary the first time, one of my jobs was as a technical editor. And so I am pretty good at fixing spelling errors and grammatical errors, cleaning up writing, making sure it's tighter. But I have to tell you that I love to laugh at spelling errors and grammatical errors. And who uses spell check? Spell check? Spell check is really bad for you. It's really bad. Like this, church bulletins are famous for having the wrong word or not looking at what something really says. Just because everything is spelled right does not mean that it's accurate. Like, these are some of my favorites that I have found on the internet. The third verse of Blessed Assurance will be sung without musical accomplishment. Not sure what that says about the choir. The eighth graders will be presenting Shakespeare's Hamlet in the church basement on Friday at 7 p.m. The congregation is invited to attend this tragedy. The Reverend Merriweather spoke briefly, much to the delight of the congregation. I feel that one in my soul. And, after a few minutes, people start looking at their watches. I know the Reverend Catherine knows what I'm talking about with that. But now we have some new things to worry about, because, it's who sends text messages? Texters in here. And so now we have to worry about text abbreviations, right? Sometimes we don't know what those mean. I read one story where a woman was texting her children and saying, "Your Aunt Gloria died, LOL." And one of the children said, "Mom, why did you type LOL? Do you know what that means?" "Well, it means lots of love." No, it means laughing out loud. So then Mom had to go back and call everyone in the family because they thought that she was glad that Aunt Gloria was dead. So, I have to admit to you that some of you, especially some of the younger people in our congregation, they might think I'm rude because when I text, I use punctuation marks. You heard this? Like, if you put a period in a text message, you're being short. It's rude. Well, you know what? I am Look at my chubby little fingers. I don't like, that little tiny keyboard. So what I do is I use talk to text. Now, have y'all ever, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I have a dialect. And this week I was dictating something in Word and I printed it out, passed it out at class, and it talked about us riding our goals like you would ride a horse instead of writing our goals. But I have gotten so used to using this talk to text that this week I was sending a friend a voicemail message. And so when I do my talk to text, I tell the messenger, the program, to put in the punctuation. So I'm leaving a voicemail message and I say, "Hey, how's your day going?" ? So I'm fairly good at grammar. I can't diagram a sentence, but other than that, I'm pretty good at grammar. And this week, because I was thinking about grammar and I laughing at myself for all my ridiculous mistakes, I remembered this quote that I found a couple years ago that is so important to me. The spiritual practice of gratitude has been called a state of mind and a way of life. But we prefer to think of it as a grammar, an underlying structure that helps us construct and make sense out of our lives. The rules of this grammar cover all our activities. Its syntax reveals a system of relationships linking us to the divine and to every other part of creation. The spiritual practice of gratitude as a grammar to help us understand and make sense of our lives. That is so powerful to me. And so I want to talk this morning a little bit about gratitude, but then I also want to bring in this idea of grace that Debbie so beautifully read to us this morning, and then revisit this month's power, right? Because we have to explore this idea that we can let go of that which no longer works in our lives. And so there's do I remember who Martin Luther was? The Protestant reformer. So Martin Luther, he referred to gratitude as the basic Christian attitude. But we see that this idea of gratitude shows up in the world's major faiths. Rabbi Harold Kushner said this: if you concentrate on finding whatever is good in every situation, you will discover that your life will suddenly be filled with gratitude, a feeling that nurtures the soul. See, living with gratitude as our grammar means that we always look for the good in every situation. Sometimes that's very difficult, right? So sometimes that feels impossible. But yet even our Jewish brothers and sisters, they have a morning prayer that states, "I thank you, living and enduring God, for you have restored my life to me. Great is your faithfulness." And see, we talk a lot about our experience of faith and what we have faith in, but we get to remember that this idea, this energy, this creative force that has brought us into being, God, good, love, has faith in you and has restored you to life today. And see, here in the Christian rituals of the Eucharist, do you know that Eucharist is Greek for thanksgiving? So we have this spiritual idea to rejoice always, to pray without ceasing, and to give thanks in all circumstances. Give thanks in all circumstances. That's sometimes challenging. I recently got to enjoy a Broadway musical now that they're streaming them online, and I got to watch Come From Away. Has anyone seen Come From Away? So Come From Away is a musical that is set in Canada, over in Newfoundland. See, our community members here that are from down east, they'll get the Come From Away, because Come From Away, like the down easters, they say that we're from off, right? You know that we're from off because we don't live down east. So Come From Aways are people that don't live on the island. They don't live in Newfoundland. And on September 11th, 7,000 people were deposited in Gander, Newfoundland. As American airspace was closed, 7,000 people landed in a town that had a population of about 7,000. So the population doubled overnight. And see, we constantly look at what's bad in the world, but we always have to take a moment and live from this rule of grammar to look for what's good that is happening in the world. And friendships were formed in that experience. Faith in humanity was born for people from all over the world as this community opened up their doors. Because Gander did not have room for 7,000 people in hotels. So people were staying in private homes. They were staying in churches, in schools. It brought a community together. So we always get this opportunity to look for what is good in the world, right? And yet it's more than just this idea of being thankful, right? It is the structure that we create and make sense of our lives, right? And we all have these things that we can look back and say, I've got this thing in my life that I'm not grateful for. I have this thing in my life that is still too painful, that I haven't done my forgiveness work for, that still hurts me to my core, and I don't know what to do with that. But here's what I want to invite you to do is I want to invite you to do your forgiveness work and rest in this truth that you are lovable, that you are worthy, that you are a child of the divine, and that what you are here to do matters. And that experience has helped prepare you for what's next. Yes? And so we step into this idea that we have to be grateful, right? And I'll tell you what, if the master teacher can look down from across and say, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing, then we can learn to forgive too, right? We can learn to forgive and living from this space where we look for what is the good in this moment. What is the place where I can be grateful? How can I experience gratitude right now? This is wholehearted living. See, when we are fully open to experience both gut-wrenching sorrow and also soul-soaring joy, then we truly get to embody this incredible range of emotions that is inside of us, right? And the truth is, all of these emotions are always inside of us. And whichever emotion we direct our attention to is the one that we see more of, the one that we experience more, the one that we even observe out here in the world. So when we can shift from anything else and come to gratitude, to joy, to love, it makes everything else worth it. Every experience that we have ever had. Psalm 107 tells us to give thanks to the Lord, for God is good, for God's mercy endures forever. And so we give thanks. We give thanks. And we know that God's mercy endures. This is grace. God's mercy is this gift of grace into our lives. And Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said that the grace of God is greater than the laws of man. To become recipients of that which the Father would bestow, we should take the element of grace into consideration. That even beyond what we ask, seek, or earn, or deserve under the law, God is more than willing to give. Do you feel this? Have faith in this truth that no matter what is going on, that this divine creative energy that has called you into being right now wants you to experience the unlimited wellspring of life, substance, and intelligence that is within. That is within. So we get to use this creative principle of universal power. We partner with this God, good love, and we get to create our experience of this world, right? We go back to principle 3. Our thoughts and our feelings, they matter. They help bring into this world that which we want to experience. Because we have this indwelling spark of divinity, this thing that we call the Christ that is inside all of us, right? But we use that by becoming aware of our thoughts and our feelings, right? We don't let our feelings control us. We don't let our minds run amok. We practice sitting in the silence, not to experience a calm mind, but to recognize when the mind is out of alignment so that we can bring our thoughts back into focusing on that which we desire. We bring our thoughts and our feelings back to gratitude and to wholehearted living. I was a voracious reader when I was young, and I learned to love the art of storytelling. You are the author of your own life. You get to write your story, and in your story, we know that we can be a victim, right? We can live in this small, constricted consciousness, or we can expand in our verity consciousness, knowing that divine, transcendent God that is out there somewhere is also here and personal and calling us forth to use our faculties of wisdom and love and understanding and power and zeal. And renunciation, right? And so whatever the story is that you have written to this point, up until now, what can you look back and be grateful for? What can you look back and be grateful for? And wholehearted living tells us all of it. Absolutely all of it. And when we were all young, do you remember the English classes where you had to learn how to write paragraphs? I was pretty good at that. You know, a well-written paragraph, a well-written narrative uses paragraphs to create a rhythm. Have you noticed a rhythm in your life? Without even knowing it, you're creating paragraphs and writing your story down. And so I want you to consider the collection of sentences that you're putting together in a paragraph. See, a paragraph has a central topic, a central idea, and then everything builds on that idea. You've got topic and development, and you support it, and then you give a summary statement, right? But if some of you are old enough to remember that when you were typing, you'd type along, and then you'd hear a bell, right? Remember the bell? What'd the bell tell you? You had to do a hard return. You had to come back. And you know what that is? That's the new line. When you get to a new line, you can tab it in and you get to start again with a new idea, a new divine idea, a new desire, a new experience. And it doesn't mean that everything we've written before is no good. Right? Some of it we might need to shred and go put in the compost pile so that we can compost it and make fertile soil for our garden. But we get to start new with a new line. And see, this is part of our power, our faculty of renunciation, where we get to renounce that which no longer works. I renounce the idea that I'm going to be a victim anymore in this story, and now I start showing up as the hero that I am called to be. Right? With a new line, a new idea. All that other stuff was just character development. And now we get to stand forth. And if you want, wear a cape, right? No one's going to look at you funny anymore. Wear what you want to wear. Maybe you're a hero that wears sequin shoes. And look back at the remarkable experiences that have helped you arrive. Right here. Right here, now, in this precious moment. Right? And just keep going and going and going, because I promise you, when it's time for a new line, this wisdom and understanding that lives within you, this love that is breathing you, is going to make you hear a little bell. And you'll know that it's time for a new idea, a new line, a new start. So today, think about what your story is. Think about anything that is pulling you away from the truth that you are divine. You are the divine child of the Almighty. This beautiful energy that has called you to be here has called you with purpose. And I want you to remember who you are, because we have work to do. I love you. Blessings. And now I want to invite everyone to, if it's comfortable for you, maybe close your eyes and just become aware of your breathing. And we're going to turn to Dedri to lead us into some meditation.
My deepest gratitude and faith in your loving presence. I know that I am saved. Thank you for your grace.
Simply breathe into this moment. Relax into your seat, knowing that there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be except here, now, in this openness. Shift your energy to your heart center. From this heart-centered space, direct your attention outward to this transcendent experience of God, good, love. God, good, love has faith in you. God, good, love is out there ready to shower us all with all the good we can imagine. And with a deep breath, bring your awareness back to this heart center. Imagine this soft pink light in the center of your being. This is the dwelling space of love. And as you gently breathe, notice how this soft pink light shifts to a brilliant, clear white color. This is the divine spark of God, good love. It is both out there and in here. This is the Christ of being within. And so now for just a moment, sit with this truth, this Christ within, in the silence. I have faith in God, good, love, because God, good, love, has faith in me. God, good, love, has faith in me. So now with slow, deep breaths, bring your attention and your awareness back to this space, this time, this moment where, despite appearances, we are all together in this house of love. Come back as you're ready. Amen.